David Hennison, thank you for a $5 super chat. Getting back into FPV after years off and ordered the TBS Mambo. Coming from Spectrum, I'm ignorant. Don't say that. Don't say that about yourself just because you use Spectrum. Not everybody lots of smart people use Spectrum. I'm sure you're a smart person. Coming from Spectrum, I'm ignorant, so stick with Tracer or get into Express LRS. I mean, you bought the Mambo. You may as well keep using it. I don't know. Tracer is my least favorite of the 4 high-performance control links you could buy today. Ghost, Crossfire, Express LRS, and Tracer. It is the least flexible in terms of your choice of low latency versus long range. And because of the modulation method that they chose to use, Tracer has to run at very high output power to get even moderate range. By moderate, I mean, Wesley've already tested Tracer out to something like 20, 25 kilometers in open air with a wing up in the air. But like Ghost and Express LRS can go to 60 kilometers or more under those same, and Crossfire for the record, under those same conditions. So Tracer, maybe it has a third the range of Ghost, Express LRS, and Crossfire. There's many variables. That's an extremely rough approximation that is making many people upset with me right now for saying it. But the point is, Tracer is limited in terms of what it does. It is it's low latency, and that's it. Whereas Ghost and Express LRS, you can choose low latency, longer range. You have a little more flexibility, and it's my least favorite of those. Now, you already bought the Mambo, so if you want to keep using Tracer, more power to you. But if you're thinking, should I go to Express LRS? Well, you can put a module in the back of your Mambo. It is an option, and better to buy Express LRS receivers today than spend $200 on Tracer receivers and then switch to Express LRS. Wesley Vardy points out that Tracer had to be on 1 watt to reach the same range as Express LRS and Ghost on 100 milliwatts. So, yeah, that's a Tracer. When Tracer came out, Ghost had just released, and Ghost was, I don't know for a fact, I assume that guys were still working on Express LRS, and someone was flying Express LRS at 250 hertz or something when Ghost released. But Express LRS hadn't really taken off in kind of like the public consciousness in the way that it is now, certainly not in my consciousness. So there was Crossfire, which ran at 150 hertz, and that was the high performance link. And Ghost comes out, and it can go to 222 hertz, I think, was when it first released. Now it goes up to 500 hertz. And it's like, oh, wait, there's something more. And TBS dropped Tracer, which goes 250 hertz, and it was kind of like the fastest thing out there. And so there were people who jumped to Tracer because they wanted the lowest latency link, and Tracer basically was it. But then Tracer just stopped. Tracer isn't going to get any faster. Not until the whole Crossfire protocol is revamped to make their packets smaller. That's my opinion. Whereas Express LRS and Ghost were designed to go faster from day one. And so that period of time where Tracer at 250 hertz was like the fastest thing you could get, it ended. Now Ghost goes to 500 hertz. Express LRS goes to 500 hertz. So people who want low latency have no reason to choose Tracer, except if they just love Crossfire and love TBS, and they're like, cool, more power to you if that's how you feel. Spend your money how you want. But I think there's a lot less of a compelling case today for someone who isn't already invested in the TBS ecosystem to decide that Tracer is the direction they want to go. I would almost take Crossfire receivers over Tracer receivers today, because Crossfire at least has great range and penetration, and the latency is not as good as Tracer, but yeah.